everyone, I'm so glad you could join me for another bake along. This one is a fun one to make with the kids, my confetti blossom cookies. A basic sugar cookie with lots of sprinkles, a little chocolate kiss on top. How much fun can you have with a confetti blossom cookie? You know, I really had fun playing with this recipe because a typical blossom cookie is a peanut butter cookie with a chocolate candy or kiss in the center. But because I wanted to make these confetti, the peanut butter would be too much. So this is kind of a twist on a shortbread cookie. It doesn't move too much. It's got tenderness to it, but it's not technically a shortbread, although it starts with a lot of butter. So let me put that in the mixer first, along with the sugar. And it's a smaller amount of sugar than you would use in, say, a chocolate chip cookie, because we don't want these cookies to spread. And sugar really is what causes most cookies to spread when they bake, because the sugar liquefies. So I'll beat this on medium-high and make a racket. Beat this on medium-high. Get it a bit creamy looking. You can make this dough by hand, but it is a bit more dense of a dough than, say, a chocolate chip cookie dough. So it's a lot of work, which is why I pull out the mixer, or you can use electric beaters. You know what, frankly, you could do this in the food processor if you wanted to. There we go. My butter turned a little more pale color, so I know I've creamed this enough. I've aerated the butter and sugar, so it helps give the cookie structure. It sounds so serious for a cookie with sprinkles, but we want it to come out right. I'm adding 2 egg yolks. I found that using a whole egg just toughened up the cookie. It didn't hold its shape. It lifted too much. So 2 yolks is key, along with a little vanilla. Get that worked in. Okay, now for the all-purpose flour. No need to sift. There's no baking soda or baking powder going into this recipe, but I do want to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I have here. Just toss that in. And now I'll combine this until the dough comes together. Be patient. It can take a few minutes for the dough to come together, but it will. It's a sign that you've made it right. If it was too wet and sticky, then you know it would turn into a puddle when you bake them. We don't want confetti puddles, we want confetti blossoms. There we go. Now, once you see the dough start to come together, it's time for the final addition, the sprinkles. Let's talk about sprinkles for a second. You've probably put sprinkles on top of cupcakes, on top of ice cream, on top of other treats, but you need to use the right sprinkle when you're making confetti anything, a cake batter or a cookie dough, so that it doesn't completely dissolve when you start stirring it in. I find this type of sprinkle, they're called jimmies, work the best. If it's the first time you're using a batch of sprinkles, do a test cookie. Add your sprinkles to just a little bit of batter, pop it in the oven, see how the color holds, does it bleed, does it spread, and then you know you've got the right sprinkle. These I've tested out, so I know I can add them in. And I only stir them into the dough for a few seconds. I'm going to shape my blossom cookies by hand, so I'm actually going to finish working the dough together by hand and incorporate the sprinkles at the same time. Well, this would be a fun activity to get the kids into. Let's stir sprinkles into cookies. It's not a tough request. There we go. So I finish bringing the dough together with my hands and work in those sprinkles at the same time. And just about there. Now, instead of scooping this cookie dough, I find it easier to divide on your work surface. You won't need to flour your board. This isn't like rolling pie dough or any sort of pastry. So you want to divide your dough in half. This recipe yields 32 cookies. So each half I'll cut in half. This is another reason why this is a great activity to do with kids of the right age, because you can work in some basic math skills and cookies at the same time. So we need to get 32 cookies from our 4 logs. That means each will have to be cut into 8. I've got 2 baking trays lined with parchment, and now you want to take the time to shape each of the cookies into a ball. And I picked up 2 types of kisses. So your traditional milk chocolate and then the white chocolate stripe. I think they're called hugs. And you just use the kiss to press down the cookie. If you do find it cracks in any little place, you can just adhere it together. There we go. And keep assembling until all are shaped and topped with a kiss. Do the last couple here. Don't worry if you have little cracks, because as the cookie expands and kind of fills its space, it fills in all the cracks. I've preheated my oven to 350, and these take 14 to 16 minutes. It really depends on your oven. What I do to check is take a little lifter, lift under the cookie. You won't see any browning on the top, which is great. You want to see the sprinkles. But when you see a light browning on the bottom, you know they're cooked through. And here they are out of the oven and cooled. And you see what I mean about they sort of expand and they fill in any gaps, but you can see all the sprinkles within. You let them cool completely on the tray, the little kisses set up, and you are all set. These are kind of a any time of year cookie. If you're making them at Christmas time, you could use red and green sprinkles, red, green, and white. But I love the idea of the confetti sprinkles for a birthday party. What a treat. Oh, don't forget, I have another full tray over here. I didn't just bake off one. I love the idea of the white chocolate with the stripe in it. So you can see how beautifully colorful these cookies are. Fun inside and out, and so easy to whip up. Definitely something to make with the kids. I know you're gonna love this recipe. If you use different color sprinkles or add something different on top, let me know. Don't forget the full recipe is available. Go to the description, hit the more button, and it expands out into the complete recipe with all the measurements, all the methods, some of the tips, because you want to bake along with me. Watch the video, hit pause, mix your ingredients, come back to me, and I'll guide you through every step. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again for another delicious recipe. Just like a shortbread. Shortbread sugar cookie.